Ever feel like you're drowning in competition? Like you're stuck in this cutthroat market fighting for every single customer?
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Well, imagine if there was like a way to escape that.
Mm.
A way to create a space where competition, it just doesn't matter anymore.
It sounds pretty good to me, like a breath of fresh air.
Exactly. And that is the big idea behind Blue Ocean strategy.
Ah, blue ocean strategy. Yeah, I've heard that term thrown around.
It's powerful stuff. And today we're diving deep into the book that really made it famous.
Okay, lay it on me.
It's called, very simply, Blue Ocean Strategy by W. Chan Kim and Renee Mauborgne.
All right, so blue ocean strategy, what's the core concept we need to grasp here?
So they use this metaphor of red oceans versus blue oceans.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Red and blue oceans. What are we talking about?
All right, picture this. Red ocean, it's crowded, it's bloody, everyone's fighting over the same shrinking resources.
Oh, I get it. It's like that classic shark feeding frenzy. Everyone's going after the same, limited supply.
Exactly. That's your red ocean. Brutal competition, tiny profits, not a fun place to be.
So then a blue ocean is like the opposite.
Totally. A blue ocean, think vast, think unexplored, teeming with possibilities.
Okay, so it's untapped potential, right? New markets right for the taking.
Exactly. Where you can grow, innovate, and forget about fighting over scraps.
So in a blue ocean, you're not trying to beat the competition, you're making them irrelevant.
Exactly. But okay, let's talk more action. Right. Give me an example. A real company that actually did this.
All right, how about Cirque du Soleil? I bet you've seen one of their shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. But how do they fit into this blue ocean thing?
Think about it. Traditional circuses, they were stuck in a red ocean, right?
Got tons of competition, same old acts, struggling to attract audiences.
Right. So Cirque du Soleil, they didn't try to beat them at their own game. They reinvented the whole circus experience.
Yeah, it's way more artistic, theatrical, like you wouldn't even call it a circus, really.
Exactly. They created a blue ocean of demand that didn't even exist before. Adults, people who wouldn't normally go to the circus, flock to these shows.
So it's not just about finding a niche, it's about creating a whole new category.
You got it? They said, forget the traditional boundaries of the circus market. We're creating something completely new.
Wow, okay. This is making sense, but it sounds kind of mystical. How do you actually find a blue ocean? Is there like a map or something?
Oh, no literal map, unfortunately, but the book does give us 6 guiding principles.
Okay, 6 principles. Let's hear them. What's the first one?
The first one's exactly what Cirque du Soleil did. Reconstruct market boundaries. You got to challenge those old industry assumptions.
So, principle number 1,
Hmm.
don't be afraid to question everything. Think outside the box.
There you go.
Got it. What's next?
Number 2, focus on the big picture. Don't get lost in the weeds. Too many companies are so busy fighting in that red ocean they can't see the open water.
Okay, that makes sense. Big picture thinking. But how do you find those open waters? Where's the sign that says blue ocean this way?
Well, you're right. There's no signpost. But one key strategy is to reach beyond existing demand.
What do you mean by that?
Don't just focus on your current customers. Look at the people who aren't buying your product or service, the ones who are saying no thanks to your whole industry.
Okay, interesting. So figure out why they're saying no.
Exactly. Maybe there's a huge untapped market hiding in plain sight, people who have needs that aren't being met.
So you're trying to turn those no's into yeses by offering something completely different.
You got it. A perfect example. Henry Ford and the Model T.
Okay, back in the day, cars were luxury, right?
Yeah,
Only for the rich.
exactly. Ford saw an opportunity. He didn't try to build a slightly fancier luxury car.
He built a car for everyone.
Exactly. Affordable, reliable, easy to maintain. He created a whole new category of transportation.
He reached beyond that existing demand
Wow.
and created his own blue ocean. Amazing. But how does that apply today? Like, what if I don't run a car company?
The principles, they apply everywhere, no matter what industry you're in. Let's say you're a small bakery, right?
Okay, I love bakeries.
You could try to compete with those big chains, try to have the cheapest bread, the biggest selection, but that's a red ocean battle.
Yeah, you'd be fighting an uphill battle for sure.
Instead, reach beyond those existing customers. Who are the non-customers in your market?
People who can't eat gluten, maybe? Or
Yeah.
vegans?
Yeah. What about people who want custom cakes but don't want to go to some big chain bakery?
Ooh, I see where you're going with this.
You could become the go-to bakery for those specific needs. Create a blue ocean for yourself.
Wow, okay. This is definitely making my brain work. So we've got reconstruct market boundaries, reach beyond existing demand. What's the next principle?
All right, this one is crucial. Get the strategic sequence right. It's not enough to just have a cool idea. You got to execute it the right way.
So there's a method to this madness. It's not just about, like, throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Not at all. There's a specific order of operations for crafting a blue ocean strategy. We'll dive deeper into it later, but it's about aligning everything.
Yeah.
Your value proposition, your pricing, how you overcome those internal hurdles.
Okay, yeah, this is a lot to process. Maybe this is a good place to pause before we jump into the rest of those principles.
Sounds good to me. Let's give everyone a minute to digest this. It's easy to think about blue oceans like, only those huge innovations.
Right, like it's only for the Amazons and Googles of the world.
Yeah, but the truth is, these principles, they work even if you're not building the next Cirque du Soleil.
That makes sense. I bet a lot of our listeners are thinking, okay, cool concept, but can I actually do this?
Absolutely. Remember that bakery example we talked about? You don't need to reinvent bread to find a blue ocean.
So even small changes, small shifts in thinking can make a difference.
Totally. It's about looking at your market with fresh eyes, really challenging those assumptions you've been making. And that brings us back to that fourth principle. Reach beyond existing demand.
Right, we touched on that with the Model T and bakery, but how about something less tangible? What if you're, say, a graphic designer? How do you find those non-customers?
Good question. It's about understanding, the deeper needs that aren't being met by the current market. What are the frustrations? What are people missing?
So instead of just competing with a million other designers on price, you're looking for something more specific.
Right. Instead of being a graphic designer, what if you became the designer for, say, sustainable businesses?
Ooh, okay. Or like companies working on augmented reality stuff.
Exactly. You're not just a designer anymore, you're a specialist. You deeply understand their unique needs.
So by specializing, you're creating your own blue ocean, even in a crowded field like design.
Yep. You're carving out your own space. And that lets you charge more because you're offering something truly different and valuable.
It's empowering, right, for individuals and companies. But I bet it's not easy. What are some of the, mental hurdles people face with this?
Fear is a big one. Fear of the unknown, fear of failing, fear of leaving what feels safe,
It's comfortable to stick with what you know, even if it's not really working.
Exactly. It's like staying on a sinking ship because you're terrified to jump into the lifeboat. But the book has this tool, the 4 actions framework, to help you break free.
4 actions framework, okay. Break it down for me.
It helps you challenge those assumptions. It makes you ask 4 questions. First, what are we doing that everyone just takes for granted? Should we eliminate that?
So you're looking for things people think are essential, but might actually be holding the whole industry back.
Exactly. Then you ask, what should we reduce? Way below the industry standard. Think. Streamline. Simplify. Cut the fluff.
Okay, so far we're getting rid of stuff. What's next?
The third question flips it. What should we raise? Way above the standard. And finally, what can we create that's totally new, something this industry has never offered?
So you're not just cutting back, you're looking for ways to enhance, to innovate, to create new value.
Exactly. These questions, they can really help you see things differently. But, fear isn't the only challenge. What about resistance to change?
Yeah, good point.
Right.
Especially in big companies. People get comfortable with how things are, even if it's not working.
It's like they're holding on to pieces of the old shipwreck instead of embracing this new journey. The book calls this tipping point leadership. You got to overcome that inertia.
So a brilliant idea isn't enough. You need to get people on board, right? Create a movement.
Right. The book talks about fair process involving people, giving them a voice, making sure they feel heard.
So it's not about forcing change, it's more collaborative.
Exactly. And find those kingpins, the people with influence who can really champion your blue ocean vision.
Okay, so we've got fear, resistance to change. Any other roadblocks people might hit?
Another one, and this might sound weird, is being too focused on innovation.
Wait, too much innovation. Isn't that the whole point of blue ocean strategy?
It's important, but it needs to be the right kind of innovation. The authors warn about these technology traps.
What do you mean?
It's when companies get obsessed with new tech, but forget about the customer, their actual needs.
Like they're so busy building the fanciest ship, they forget who they're building it for.
Exactly. And there's search risks, spending all your time looking for blue oceans that might not even exist.
So you need that balance, right? Exploration, but also a reality check.
Right. Your innovation has to be grounded in real market needs. You need to be strategic and focused and be ready to pivot if it's not working. And that's where tools like the strategy canvas and buyer utility map come in. They help you analyze your market, really understand your customers.
Those sound useful,
Yeah.
but I'm also wondering, how do you measure success in a blue ocean? If there's no competition, how do you know you're doing well?
Great question. Because you're creating a new market, right? There are no benchmarks, no one to compare yourself to. But the authors say you can measure success. They call it value innovation.
Value innovation.
Mm.
Interesting term. Tell me more.
It's about creating a leap in value for both your company and your customer. Not just a slightly better product, but something truly different and compelling.
So you're not just winning, you're changing the whole game.
Exactly. And you measure it by looking at two things: differentiation and low cost.
So it needs to be different and affordable.
Right. If it's only different but too expensive, you'll just be a luxury item, a niche market. And if it's only affordable but not different, you're stuck in the red ocean fighting on price.
So it's that sweet spot, right? Differentiation and low cost.
Yep, that's value innovation. It's about breaking the rules and creating a win-win for everyone.
This is all so exciting, but also a little daunting. How do you actually achieve value innovation? Where do you even start?
Well, the book gives us another framework. It's called the 6 Paths Framework. 6 different ways to create that new market space and achieve value innovation.
Okay, I'm listening. 6 paths. Lay them on me.
Path 1 is to look across alternative industries. What can we learn from other industries that are meeting the same need, but in a different way?
Give me an example.
Think about NetJets. They offer fractional ownership of private jets.
Okay, so you own a part of a jet. Interesting.
They looked at the airline industry and the private jet industry, and they saw this opportunity to combine the best of both.
So they created something new by borrowing ideas from different industries.
Exactly. Path 2 is to look across strategic groups within industries.
Like budget airlines versus fancy airlines.
Right. You ask, what makes these groups different? Can we blur those lines and create something new?
So you're bridging the gap between different parts of the market.
Yep. Path number 3 is looking across the chain of buyers.
What does that mean?
It's about going beyond your immediate customer, looking at everyone involved: suppliers, distributors, retailers, the whole system.
You're thinking about the whole ecosystem, not just one piece of it.
Right. Ask yourself, who are the real decision makers? How can we appeal to them?
Makes sense. Focus on who's actually holding the purse strings. What's next?
Path 4 is looking at complementary product and service offerings.
Like the classic coffee and donuts.
Yeah.
Or movies and popcorn.
Exactly. Ask yourself, can we bundle our product with something else or create a seamless experience that integrates different offerings?
So you're creating a more complete experience for the customer. Okay, what about the last 2 paths?
Path 5 challenges you to look across functional or emotional appeal to buyers.
So some products are purely practical, others are more about feeling or emotion.
Right. Ask, can we shift the functional emotional balance in our industry? Can we make a practical product more emotional or an emotional product more practical?
Ooh, that's a cool way to think about it. Okay, last path.
This one is all about looking across time. How will customer needs change in the future?
So you're looking for trends for future opportunities.
Exactly. What are those emerging needs? Can we anticipate and meet them before anyone else?
This 6 paths framework, it's like a whole toolkit for innovation.
It is. But remember, it's just a starting point. You still need to do that hard work. Analyze your market, understand your customers, build a compelling offering.
Right, it's not some magic formula, but it gives you a framework to approach innovation more strategically.
And that's the heart of Blue Ocean strategy, right? Challenge the status quo, break free from the red ocean, create something amazing.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into Blue Ocean strategy. I've learned so much.
Me too. It's such a powerful concept.
And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to, chart their own course, find their own blue ocean.
Absolutely. There's a whole world of possibilities out there.
And speaking of possibilities, we've got some great questions from our listeners. I bet they're buzzing with ideas right now, but also maybe some anxieties.
Yeah, it's one thing to get the concept, but putting it into practice, that's where the real work begins.
All right, let's jump right into those listener questions. I bet they're excited about the blue ocean potential, but also wondering, can I really pull this off?
Yeah, it's one thing to understand the theory, right? But putting it into practice, that's the real challenge.
Exactly. So, first question. How do you even know if you've found a blue ocean? What are the signs you're on the right track?
It's like you're sailing into uncharted waters. You need some way to know you're not heading for a dead end, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what should people be looking for?
Well, first, real excitement. When you share your idea, people are genuinely intrigued. Like, it's not just polite nodding, there's real curiosity.
It's that spark, right? You can see the light bulb go off in their eyes.
Exactly. Second, you start attracting new customers, people who never would have considered your industry before.
Those non-customers we talked about, they were saying no to the red ocean, but now they're saying yes to your blue ocean
Exactly. And third, your competitors, they're either ignoring you completely.
because they don't see you as a threat.
Right. Or they're scrambling to copy you but can't quite figure out what you're doing.
So you're not just winning customers, you're changing the whole game.
You got it. New rules, new playing field. That's the power of blue ocean strategy.
Okay, so you've found your blue ocean, you're seeing success. But how do you keep it from turning red? How do you protect it?
That's the big question. The authors call it sustaining your blue ocean. It's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process.
So you can't just relax and think you've made it.
Hmm.
You got to stay vigilant.
Exactly. Always be watching your market. Look for any signs that your blue ocean is getting crowded.
Okay, what are some red flags?
You might see new competitors popping up trying to get a piece of your pie.
Or the old competitors are trying to copy you,
What are-
drag you back into the red ocean.
Yep. It's like sharks smelling blood in the water. Another sign, your profits start shrinking or demand levels off. Those are signs you need to shake things up again.
Keep innovating. Keep finding ways to create value.
Exactly. Don't get complacent. The authors recommend a few key strategies. One is to keep expanding your offerings. Don't just have one product or service. Create a whole ecosystem of value.
So it's not just a product, it's an experience.
Right. Another thing is to build strong brand loyalty. Make those customers feel connected to something bigger.
So even if competitors try to copy you, your customers will stick with you because they love your brand.
Exactly. And finally, be proactive. Defend your blue ocean. Watch your competitors. Anticipate their moves.
So you're not just sitting back, hoping for the best. You're actively protecting your turf.
Right. Sometimes the beach defense is a good offense. You can even use your blue ocean strategy to disrupt their red oceans. Force them to play catch-up while you keep innovating.
Well, I think this has been an amazing deep dive into blue ocean strategy.
We've covered a lot of ground.
From the basics to the challenges to how to make it last. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to explore those uncharted waters.
Me too. It's all about challenging the status quo, breaking free from limitations, and creating something truly extraordinary.
The world is waiting for your blue ocean, so go out there and make it happen.